Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a force known by their motto, the few, the fearless. We're talking about the Marine Commandos, the MARCOS of the Indian Navy. This is really your shortcut to understanding how this elite unit came about, their frankly brutal training, and, their vital role in India's security today.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating because Marcos wasn't just created in a vacuum. There was a real strategic need. Think back to events like Operation Blue Star in 1984. That really drove home some serious coastal vulnerabilities.
Right.
And then you have critical assets offshore, like the Bombay high oil rigs. How do you protect those from, say, a covert attack?
Right. So a very specific set of threats they needed to counter.
Precisely. It was a direct response. So Marcos essentially gets established in February 1987. And they did look at, global best practices. The U.S. Navy SEALs, Britain's Special Boat Service were definite inspirations. But the goal was always an indigenous world-class capability.
Okay, so we see the why. Now let's get into how they create these operators. You hear about the Crucible, their selection and training, and the numbers are just staggering. A 98% overall attrition rate over 2 whole years.
It is. And it's entirely by design. Think of it as an attrition funnel.
Oh.
It's built to systematically weed people out. It's not just about physical toughness, though that's huge. It's about breaking down the ego, finding who can adapt and operate under impossible pressure.
So how does that funnel actually work? What's the first step?
It starts with a 3-day pre-selection. Right off the bat, you lose maybe 50, sometimes up to 80% of the candidates.
80% in just 3 days.
Yeah. Intense physical and mental stress from minute one. If you survive that, you move to the 5-week selection phase. Now you're doing things like 20-kilometer runs as standard, 120-kilometer marches every week with a 60-kilo pack.
60 kilos, that's a lot.
It is. And then comes the infamous Hell Week. We're talking continuous exertion, 20-plus hour days, and maybe 4 hours of sleep total for the entire week.
4 hours total, not per night.
Total. For the week. It pushes people beyond any limit they thought they had. And it culminates in things like the death crawl, 800 meters crawling through thigh-high mud, carrying 25 kilos. Plus psychological tests, like having to fire accurately at a target while your buddy, another candidate, is standing right next to it.
Wow, okay. That's extreme pressure. You can see how that would forge a certain kind of operation.
Exactly. It separates endurance from operational capability under extreme, unbelievable stress.
Which clearly leads to operators capable of working across sea, air, and land. They have this legendary versatility. But where does that reputation really get cemented in actual operations, right?
Oh, absolutely, and almost immediately. Take Operation Pawan in Sri Lanka, 1987, the same year they were formed. Just 18 commandos. They swam 12 kilometers underwater.
12 kilometers
underwater.
Yep. Silently infiltrated and destroyed in LTTE harbor. No detection, no Marcos casualties. It instantly put them on the map.
Incredible. And more recently.
Well, domestically, Operation Black Tornado during the 2008 Mumbai attacks. Marcos were pivotal in storming the Taj and Trident hotels, neutralizing terrorists, rescuing hostages, very decisive action. And they do other things, too. In Jammu and Kashmir, for instance, they've operated undercover.
Undercover? How so?
Growing beards, wearing local clothes, blending in, a bit like the Israeli Mr. Arvim units for intel gathering, counterterrorism, that sort of thing.
That versatility is really something, and makes me think about their gear. It must be pretty specialized for all these different roles.
Definitely. They need tools for unique environments. Like they use a Russian-designed APS amphibious rifle that fires these dart-like rounds. Very effective underwater.
Underwater rifles, okay. What else?
For getting in unseen, they have things like the Cosmos C2F X100. It's a 2-man swimmer delivery vehicle, like a mini-sub. Covert infiltration.
Makes sense. And are they looking ahead, thinking about future tech?
Very much so. They're already integrating drone warfare modules into training. That's happening now. And the plan is, by 2030 or so, to bring in AI and VR simulations quite heavily to sharpen tactical decision-making, stay ahead of the curve.
So when you hear the few, the fearless, it really sums it up. It's about this core group constantly adapting, representing India's commitment to, a really robust defense against complex threats.
It does, and it leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? What does it truly take for a force like this? Not just to adapt to the kind of multi-domain threats we see today, but to actively innovate for conflicts that haven't even happened yet, embracing everything from silent underwater ops to, AI-driven training simulations. That's something to consider as Marcos keeps pushing the boundaries.